Do you know how to recognize +0 SSR Protocores that you don't need in your inventory and which ones you should actually be looking for? The more often you review them and build teams, the faster you will get used to them and the easier they will be to manage. Let me remind you that we have two types of cards, solar and lunar cards. Each card has two slots for two different protocores. This means that a solar card has slots for alpha and beta cores, while a lunar card has slots for gamma and delta cores. Alpha and gamma cores have fixed main stats, meaning these stats never change and are predefined so that the companion is able to fight. These two protocores are easier to build because you don't need to look for a specific main stat, and you will also obtain them most often while farming core hunt. However, beta and delta cores are the most important protocores because choosing the correct main stat for them directly affects how comfortable combat feels with a given companion, as well as the type of damage you deal during battle. Remember that every team consists for a companion, weapon, cards and protocores, and you adapt that team to the challenge ahead of you, whether it's Stella match or brute force. Before building a team, you first need to choose the companion you want to fight alongside. Their abilities determine your choice of weapon, cards and protocores. That's why we look for protocores that fit your companions and the solar pair cards you own and actively use on your account. Let's start with main stats for solar cards, where we find alpha and beta cores. As mentioned earlier, the alpha core always has the same main stat, flat HP. Beta cores, on the other hand, can have many different main stats. Take a look at my list where I've broken down companions types and which main stats they should have. Make sure to pay attention to the rarity of your 5-star solar pair cards. Remember that 4-star solar pair cards are built the same way as 5-star ones, but at rank 0. You've probably noticed certain patterns, such as R0 builds always requiring off recovery for longer fights, although this main stat can be swiped for something like energy when dealing with senior hunter contest. First and second generation companions require energy in their main stats to keep rotation smoother. However, third generation companions often don't need as much energy because it's already built in their kits. Now let's move on to main stats for lunar cards, where we find gamma and delta cores. As mentioned before, the gamma core always has the same main stat, flat attack. Delta cores, on the other hand, can have many other main stats which you choose based on the challenge ahead of you. This allows you to distinguish three types of builds, which we adapt to the enemies on the battlefield and the card's color used to create the team. Because of this, these are the protocores you will be swiping most often. You may have also noticed that I don't use attack, HP and defense bonuses, because at the moment we don't have a 5-star companion who could act as a proper supporter for MC. Of course, this may change in the future since the lore suggests that MC hasn't fully awakened her powers yet. If you're curious what I do with those protocores, keep watching. Now it's time to talk about the substats I look for or discard once I already have the correct main stat. You can roll anywhere from 2 to 4 different substats. In my opinion, the best protocore has a high scaling stat, includes crit and a bit damage boost to weakened. If I'm building a team for dual scalers, I also take a smaller attack percent values into account. When building a team for an attack-based companion, I look for 13 to 15% or higher attack bonus on +0 SSR Protocore, meaning a gold protocore that hasn't been enhanced yet. You can simply use the yellow circle indicator with the number 1 or 2 as a guidance. This way you will find protocores that can later reach 18 to 13% or higher attack bonus at +12 or +15. That said, you also need to consider other important attributes like crit and/or damage boost to weakened. Sometimes enhancing a protocore with higher crit but lower attack bonus, around 10%, can result in a future rolls going into crit instead. That's why I recommend focusing on high-value substats from my list, or using the yellow circle as a reference. Keep in mind that at +0 you will usually only see 2 high substats values on a protocore. Finally, I recommend discarding all 3-star and 4-star protocores, and also the combination of HP percent and defense percent, because the damage formula simply doesn't support it. Take your time analyzing my graphics and slowly start applying this in practice. I hope this guide will make team building in LADs much easier for you. Let me know if you found this guide helpful, and I will see you in the next video.